All right, welcome everyone to the big uh, year-end kick or year-end wrap-up. Your beginning kickoff with the irresponsible reader and the brain and the brawn behind Witty and Sarcastic Book Club. Jodie, welcome back.
Thank you.
And so yeah, today we're just going to talk about the highs and weirdnesses of last year. I don't know about weirdnesses, maybe. We'll look ahead to the year to come, and for those on Patreon, sadly just behind the Patreon exclusive, we will do your 3 steps to world peace. If you don't subscribe to my Patreon, sorry, you're out of luck. You'll never know how to establish world peace. Also, I don't have a Patreon, so anyway. Okay, Jodie, what are some of the big highlights for Witty and Sarcastic Book Club last year?
Well, this was kind of an odd year. I started out pretty strong, and then halfway through the year, life happened and things just kind of petered.
You mean giant storms wiping away your state?
Yeah, there was that. I mean, just little things. But there were some good things. That the blog. It's just kind of a weird year. But of course, Self-Published Authors Appreciation Week was fantastic again this year. We had so many people participating, including you, which was awesome.
Oh yeah, I did that.
Yeah, you did. You did a lot, actually. You do these really cool lists because you separate them by genre, which I am never organized enough for. So that's pretty cool. I'm like, oh, there's detectives, and then I look and I'm like, and there's middle grade, and then I look and I'm like, there's nonfiction. I'm like, good grief, that's awesome. So very, very cool to see that growing. I'm always really excited about that, and it did it. It actually surprising in some ways in that we had like authors also showing up. Because you can't, as much as you want to highlight every single book or interview every author, there's just not enough time in the day. So when you get authors out there also adding their stuff on social media and everything and using the hashtag, then it spreads even more and more people can see things. And that's always very, very cool. So not necessarily like a blog highlight per se, but a reading highlight. And I thought that was really awesome. So definitely cool. I want to say I did the first roundtable discussion, which I've not done any others, but the plan is there. Got together with some other bloggers, and we kind of went back and forth and talked about the idea of the hero's journey in different fantasy books, and common that in and all that. So that was a lot of fun. Really liked that. Let's see what else I did. Lots of good series that I finished this year. Everything culminated very well, so that was neat. And I'm trying to think what else I did. Let's see. Lots of Dragon Math stuff. I'm doing the Grant's side quest where I'm rereading all the many side novels, which should keep me busy for a while. So that's been a lot of fun going through and looking through and okay, this one's great. This one's fun, and just a lot of fun. And then seeing other people kind of discuss that with me, because a lot of people have either read some of it or read all of it, but it's been a while, or are curious where to come in. So that's always fun to talk about something I'm passionate about. So overall, it was a good year. Just kind of
what?
I know, right? Have you ever heard me talk about that one before? I mean, who would have thought?
Okay, all right. Let's see. Were there things that your readers responded to that you didn't expect, or was there like a lot of good feedback outside of like the self-published authors stuff kicking off?
Oh yeah, it was really cool. Well, first of all, I got to the point finally where I unfortunately had to turn some authors away for review requests, which I felt horrible about, but at the same time was also incredibly flattering. So that was really neat to see that people, authors appreciate my writing a little bit, and also it was kind of fun to see readers as well. I got extra subscribers, which was neat. But what I love more than anything is a lot of people talking to me and leaving comments, and I was able to kind of talk back, which is the whole reason. Yeah, I love that. I love that so much. Even when people are disagreeing with me and they're saying, "How could you not love this book?" or "Why on earth, this book was not good at all. Why did you think it was the most amazing thing ever?" or whatever. It's and multiple people asking, "Have you read this series?" And I'm like, "Well, not yet, but I'm going to." But it was a lot of fun. I really liked that. And so there was a lot of changes in not just the blogging sphere or whatever you want to call it, but how people were kind of delivering their links and such whatnot. The whole social media, whatever, that whole thing. And so I wasn't sure how that was going to work out as far as like, was I going to lose, the ability to reach an audience or, readership, however you want to call it, how was it going to affect, what, publishers or authors were willing to, put in as far as like communication, just because, I was afraid, based on how things happen, like I would lose followers or lose track of people. And luckily I really didn't. It was kind of the opposite. I somehow managed to gain, a little bit of followers and the traction. So that was neat, because if I'm getting review copies from an author and I have a very, very, very small, readership, then I feel like I'm taking advantage. So I'm glad that I didn't get to that point where I was like, it actually grew. So that was surprising and nice.
Yeah.
But yeah, I got some amazing compliments from both some authors and some other bloggers and everything. And, my head got a little big, so I had to kind of, but it was very, very cool to know that, people are reading and wanting to talk about it with me. And of course, anytime, a blogger is like, do you want to do this? Do you want to do that? Like, that's just awesome. And then I did do, the YouTube with you, and I did a podcast, Under the Radar podcast.
I was going to bring that up, but yeah.
Yes. I have not listened to it. I'll be honest. I don't like hearing myself talk. So I have not listened to it, but I've heard I did well. So, I talked about this little series. Maybe you've heard of it. And surprise, but it was a lot of fun. So it was new stuff.
Sorry if I appear a little distracted. My boxer mix is demanding attention.
Oh. I have kids that do the same thing, so it's all good.
It's okay. I don't need my hands. All right. So yeah, for me, Big Highs was Self-Published Authors Appreciation Week myself. Just the series that I did this year and the feedback. I thought, because last year took a lot of effort. This year I'll go simple. I'll ask 3 questions. No big deal. Yeah. And I don't say that complaining. I'm just, bit off more than I could chew. And too many people were wanting to participate. Darn them.
I have to do responsibilities. This is no fun.
Yeah. And then I took a little sick break, and that's great participation and help from bloggers and authors and whatnot. And that was very cool.
Yeah.
Sadly, I've yet to recover from the surgery. Not so recovered from the hole I dug myself into. Between those 2 series, organizing that, and I'm so far behind on everything else. It's driving me nuts. No one else in the world knows about it, except for I can't shut up about them. I'm the only one who knows. I'm also the only one who cares. But man, which brings us to the next question. Were there things that you had set out either back in January 2024 or like halfway through the year, like this is something I want to accomplish this year, and for whatever reason it didn't happen?
Oh, so many things. I'm about at least 5 books behind on my reviews right now. I mean, 5. And I've got, I know what I'm going to say, but I have to actually be awake enough to write something other than blah, 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 blah. So it's taking me a little bit of time. So that's kind of a bummer. And the roundtable discussions, I had a lot of fun, and I wanted to kind of fine tune that a little bit and do more, because it was just so much fun to get other people's opinions. And, clearly I have yet to do anything other than think about, that would be neat to do again. So, and, I did the tough questions. I believe you did that. You did one of those interviews where, I just kind of leaned into the fact that I'm really bad at interviews and just asked the wonkiest questions. And that kind of went by the wayside halfway through the year, storms and all that. And I just little things like that where I would like to pick up on them eventually, maybe if I can, Well, what about you though? Did you have anything?
Not really. I'd hope to do more of these. And most people I've asked, I don't want to be on camera, or I don't want to be on a microphone. Gee, okay. And then, yeah, just some things that I've meant to write. I suddenly remembered. I remember like every 2 weeks that I owe someone a guest post.
Yeah.
I was gonna do that in September, I think. Oh, I should probably write an apology. Except I'll think about the apology too, just like the actual post. But yeah, nothing major. I don't think. Just books and books and books. And also cross posting. I am so far behind on cross posting.
Mm-hmm.
And this goes back to I did Goodreads reviews before I started Irresponsible Reader, and that's kind of how I still keep track of what I need to write about. And sadly, I'm so far behind on cross posting. I don't know what I actually have to write about still. I'm pretty sure there are like 60 things, probably not 60, yeah, maybe at least 40 things that I can cross off my needs reviewed list. I've done it. I just haven't put it on Goodreads yet. So, when I'm trying to clear out some of the old dusty stuff. And then there was one tragic week where I deleted a bunch of things I knew I posted, and it turns out I deleted half drafts.
Oh no!
And man, I'm when you get rid of something you're working on and you try to basically recreate what you lost rather than just write something new and get it back. So now I've got
that happened. Similarly, I don't know if you remember. I had a conversation with my son a while ago, whom I homeschool, about opening lines in books and what makes a compelling opening book and everything. And I asked about it on Twitter because I had Twitter at the time, and had a big long list of fantastic opening lines that people come up with and that had been memorable to them. And I asked, and I said, can I quote you in this? And they all said yes. And then I lost that thread and can't get it back because I closed down Twitter. So I'm just sitting there going, do I try to remember? Do I ask again on a different platform and get completely different people? Because, then it's, so I'm kind of at a crossroads with that one, but it was such a cool conversation in the first place.
That was
so neat. And so I'm sitting there like, can I get it back? I don't know.
No, I enjoyed that. And you got some great stuff, and it even gave me an excuse to dust off a couple of posts of my own. I didn't update them. I just since we're talking about new lines, I'll take a day off and repost old things.
Hey, it works. It really does.
Yeah. Especially
since I know at least one of them I hadn't read, so that was really cool. I remember reading it afterward, and I was like, oh yeah, okay.
Cool. Let's see. The other thing that this year, let's advertise a little bit. Let's spread some love. Has there been a blog or even some posts or something over the last couple of years? Like, you know what? I want to be more like that, or I want to try something like that, or someone that made you think, hey, I can shake things up a little bit, maybe go in a different direction or expand or something.
Oh, absolutely. Yep.
Yes, probably, if I gave you a week, you could come up with like 50, but just a couple.
Oh, Pete Long. I mean, you know Pete Long's blog, and he wrote.
You stole my answer.
I did. I'm sorry. He wrote.
Man. Okay, you gotta hit pause. Give me 20 minutes. I'll come up with something else.
But, I mean, his even. Oh gosh, I wrote it down. The problem of the unfinished protagonist. He just writes the coolest posts. I mean, that's the kind of blogger I want to be when I grow up. So. But, I mean, fantastic stuff. And I'm just sitting there and I'm like, man, I want to do something like that. Which, of course I can't, because clearly that's his skill. That's what he does so well. But fantastic stuff. So that would be like the first one that comes to mind. Your literary locals. I love that. Love it.
Cool.
It's so cool because it's just, I don't know how you find so many people that are local like that. And I just sit there and I'm like, that is so cool. And
library events, mostly. And then, do you know someone else I should talk to? Yeah.
That requires me being extroverted in real life, which I don't do.
I'm not good at it. My daughter is fairly good at it. So I take her with me.
Oh, there you go.
She's not much of a reader, but she can do the social thing.
Mhm.
And then, she tries to be a reader. It's just wrong stage of life for her. But she can talk to the authors. She can. By the way, this is my dad.
That's what I need to do. I need to do my little 9-year-old. And
Oh, yeah.
cute. He's at that age, so I just need to like
Yes.
steer him at people and have you go talk to everybody. That's not weird at all. I promise.
Yeah. But yeah, no. Yeah. Pete Long, absolutely. The orangutan librarian.
Yes.
A lot of their stuff is so good.
Mm-hmm.
Why didn't I think of doing that post or something along those lines? Same thing with the Pages Unbound. I'm trying to think of.
Yes.
Pages.
Yes.
Yeah.
Fantastic stuff.
Yeah. And we could probably keep going, but those are the ones that jump off right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We don't want to spend too long doing that. I will try to remember. Here, I'm writing notes. So links for the show notes.
Yes, because I mean, seriously, the stuff they write, and you're just sitting there, and I'm just gobsmacked, and I'm like, wow, you know.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so now let's move on to the next item on our agenda. 2024 books. What were some standouts? What were some things that I did not expect to enjoy that? Yeah, I did.
I have a list because I knew I would forget. I think we were talking. I will forget every author or the name of the book, and then next thing you know, everyone's like, "What are you suggesting?" And I'm like, "I don't even know."
Yeah.
But
one with the character, and there were words on a page.
Right? I'm like, well, we'll just call the author by their character name, so that'll be fun. But I mean, it was a good year. It really was. There were a lot of series that wrapped up. The Tempest Blades by Ricardo Victoria that ended very well. The actually, the Archives of Evelium technically ended January 1st, but I was privileged to read it early, and phenomenal book. Ended very well. The Dragonlance Destinies, the final book in that, Dragons of Eternity, that wrapped it up, and of course they nailed it. I mean, hit it out of the park, so that was awesome.
Oh, great.
And then there were a few that were just, I mean, really surprised me. Short Walk Through a Wide World by Douglas. I'm going to get this wrong. Westerbeke. I don't know if you've read that. Never, first book, debut author, not really technically even fantasy per se. And I almost didn't pick it up because it was billed as being similar to the Addie LaRue book, which was not for me. I didn't care for it, but I ended up picking it up anyway eventually. And oh my goodness, I loved it. I love that book so much. And it's one of those books where you finish reading it and you're like, I feel like nothing happened, but then everything happened. It just happened in the small moments. Does that make sense? Like there aren't big, epic things. It's the small moments. And it's written so incredibly well. And I still can't stop thinking about it. And that was one I read early in the year. And that was very good. And then the Buddy, the Knight and the Queen of Sorrow by David.
Absolutely.
David. You read that one? Wasn't that great? Oh my goodness.
So good. Honestly, I just haven't got around to it yet, but I got a print of the cover. So ideally, right there should be a cover of it.
Oh, that's fantastic.
You can't see where I'm pointing, so I don't know why I'm bothering, but I should have a cover print right next to me.
It was such a good book. It was just it was wonderful.
Yes.
Really
and so different than his alter ego. I mean, just night and day. Yeah.
It's amazing when you get authors where you've realized that they can write so differently. Quenby Olson, like the stuff she writes, and it's just, you find out and she's written something completely different. Because the first book I read of hers was, I think it was called The Half Killed. Very, very different than, what she's got going on now. So that was really cool. Same with Sean Gibson. He's another one. I don't know if he's got his comedic fantasy, but then did you read The Camelot Shadow? I don't know if you've read that one.
I did.
So different.
So different.
I was surprised that it was the same author. It was awesome. Except
for when the friends are taking shots at each other.
Yes. You gotta have that. Yeah, you're right.
And it's like, that's the guy that is going to grow up to write, the thing with the dragon and
the part about the dragon was mostly true.
That one. Thank you.
It's right there, so I see that one a lot. So that's the only reason I remember that one. Yeah, I walk through it. I walk by it every day, and I'm like,
there you go.
Yeah. So otherwise, I would kind of stumble there. But
yeah, no, Camelot Shadow was so different and so cool. I really, that was one of those I read this summer. Maybe it was during my sick leave. One of the two. There we go. There we go, Sean Gibson. Any others that you were on your list that you want to make sure you mentioned?
Oh, yes, of course. There's let's see, the Lotus Empire. That was the final book by Tasha Suri. The Last Murder at the End of the World by Stuart Turton. Stuart Turton, he's well known for the 7.5 Deaths of Evelyn Hardcastle, or the 7 Deaths. If you don't live in the United States, we got an extra half a death because why not?
Right. Yeah.
But he has all his books are so different, and they always go somewhere funky and cool. And The Last Murder at the End of the World is still a mystery, but it's kind of like a dystopian type of thing. It's really strange and really kind of cool, and left me completely. I had no idea at all what was going to happen, and I was completely on board for the ride, so that was cool. The Star and the Strange Moon by Constance Sayers, that was very different. It was kind of like I can't even describe it. Look it up. I can't describe that one. It's just it's so different and very cool. And then of course gosh, I'm gonna get this wrong. Oh, Play of Shadows by Sebastien de Castell. This is my first book by him, and it will most definitely not be my last, because I was just so good. And
sure. I keep thinking people like, oh my god, have you read this guy? No, I haven't.
I hadn't read anything by him, and I saw that one honestly because the cover had like a domino mask on it, and it kind of like, I was like, what's that? So good. I was just completely surprised. It was very different than really anything else I'd read. You had like the theater, but this fantasy thing going on. It was fantastic. And then surprisingly enough, I don't usually have short story collections on my end of the year best of things, just because the short story collection, there's usually a few that I'm just kind of like meh about. But Tales of Mystery, Dead for a Spell, short story collection, and it's just a bunch of different kind of fantasy mysteries, short stories, and they're all incredibly different and so good. I mean, you had like the grisly, creepy ones, and then you had like the kind of the Victorian type of thing. There was one involving a squirrel, and I mean, and I didn't want to give that one away, but it was just such a fun, creative collection, and I don't think there was a single story in that collection that I didn't care for, which really doesn't happen for me with short stories. I'm really kind of picky, because there's always that one where you're like, okay, they rushed it because it's a short story format or whatever. Didn't happen with this one. So that was first time in a long time that I had a short story collection on my best of, or whatever you want to call it, at the end of the year.
Sure.
And highly recommend that one.
Okay. All righty. Hey, going back to Evelyn Hardcastle, I'm curious. If you ran a bookstore, where would you put that?
Oh gosh. I saw it. I've seen it in mystery, and I've seen it in adult fiction. I haven't seen it in fantasy, oddly enough. Although I've seen people talk about it as a fantasy. I think probably I would just put it in fiction, because it's just such a weird combination of genres. I mean, technically it's a mystery, but it's not. I've never read another mystery like it at all. And so you kind of go, well, I would honestly just put it under, like just plain old, not plain old, but you know what I mean, like just straight up under fiction, because I wouldn't even know. I
just asked because I saw it last night at a really well organized bookstore, and it was in mystery. I'm like,
yeah, I mean, technically it has a mystery, but yeah.
I can't argue against it. It just didn't seem right.
Yeah.
So now it's stuck in my brain, and I just
you're like, where do you go? I guess I probably would just put it in fiction, but that's one of those ones. And don't you love books like that where they're just so unique that you don't even know where to stick them because there's nothing else like it? And you're just like, well, okay then, because then you're getting something completely new, and I love that.
Sure. Yeah, no, and honestly, in my mind, I haven't read one of his. Actually, in reality, I haven't read another one of his because in my mind, I don't think it could live up to Hardcastle.
I have to admit that one is my favorite.
And it's not fair, but I just don't know if I want to give him a shot to mess with me again or to let me down. Or to impress me. It'd be harder for him to go up in my estimation because that was just such a mind-bending and effective work on so many levels.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see. The Tainted Cup. Did you do that one? Have you ever read Robert Jackson Bennett?
Yes, I'm reading the arc for Drop of Corruption, which comes out in April, I believe, of this year. That's the second book. And so good. What did you think? Did you love it?
I haven't read Drop of Corruption yet. That's on my list. And by the way, I got an invite to that. I'm like, are you kidding me? Why? Right. What? Okay. But no, Tainted Cup. It's one of my. I think I even said this week. It's possibly the best thing I read in 2024.
It was amazing.
It really, really was. That would just. I even think I said early. I said somewhere early on in the year that I'm going to be talking about this in January. Mm-hmm. Hey, here we are, literally talking about it in January. Let's see. The Space Between the Worlds is just this weird, beautifully written sci-fi thing that about interdimensional travel. And I don't know, did you read my post about it? Have you heard of this book before?
I hadn't heard of it, and then I read your post. I believe it was your post, and I hadn't read it at all, but your post made me really want to.
Good. Yeah, I mean that's the whole idea. Like, if you live on this parallel universe, you can't travel there, or you'll die, or the other version of you will die. So obviously we have to get people who live on the outskirts of society who are very likely dead in some other universe, almost dead in ours, so we can use them. Loved that hook. The Last Shield.
That was good.
That was and then Project Hail Mary, I finally got to, and I'm so upset with Past Me.
I haven't gotten to that one yet. Now I'm angry at myself because clearly I should have.
Have you read The Martian?
I could not tell you. I feel like it's one of those books where I've either, I've read it, or I've heard about it enough that I think I've read it, but I haven't actually read it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. So, Project Hail Mary, it's kind of like The Martian, but the stakes are bigger. But it's also totally unlike The Martian. Let's see. No Two Persons. I keep talking about that one. That's kind of a short story collection, but kind of not. So it sort of counts. It's that or a really weird episodic novel. I have to mention. Namaste, Mark Confidential. That's not what I was actually going for, but I have to bring that one up. That was just so weird. Guys who work at a grocery store that's totally not Whole Foods, but it kind of is, who are non-licensed PIs who take on a polygamous LDS mob / cult and an Armenian mob. And there's also stand-up comedy.
That's fantastic.
Oh, it is. Oh, it's also set in the mid '90s. So you got a little bit of distance from everything that they can goof around. And then I have to mention, I think I probably signed some contract somewhere, to mention M.W. Craven. He put out 2 books in the States this year, and The Mercy Chair. It is just a phenomenal, dark serial killer mystery, or serial killer book. I don't think that's really your thing, but if you read British police procedurals with a bent towards serial killers, I would insist. I actually, I love these stuff. I order from a bookstore in Northern England, so I can get them signed by him.
Oh wow! Okay, awesome.
And yeah, I'm devoted. It probably doesn't count anymore that I love his books. It's kind of like a given. So that's all the ones from this year that I wanted to mention. I didn't write it down in any notes. I'm gonna have to go back and actually listen to this. That's the listen to my voice. Okay, are we done with 2024? Anything else you want to talk about 2024?
Oh geez, I'm sure there's something, but I'm not going to remember it until 2:00 in the morning, and then I'll be like, oh yeah, I wanted to mention that one thing. So
yeah. All right. Oh, comment section. You can feel free to add it in. All right, so let's move on to 2025. First of all, and I didn't prep you for this question. Is 2025 the year that we finally see some sarcasm on the witty and sarcastic book club?
No, maybe. I don't know. We'll see. I'm more worried about the witty part. I don't know if I've gotten there yet either.
Oh, yeah.
The book club. The book club. We're gonna shorten it now. Maybe we'll just go straight up to book, and we'll just leave it like that. Book, and see what happens there. You can expect a book. Someone's going to talk about a book.
There you go. Okay. It's a question I've often wanted to ask you. And I haven't until now. You're on camera, and you have to answer. Can't just pretend that you didn't get that message or email. Okay. So no, seriously. You got some hopes, some plans, something along those lines. I know I've seen you try to solicit some participation for some more of your subgenre of fantasy kind of series. Looking forward to those. You got anything else cooking?
Oh yeah, I've got well, now I feel like I'm like, do you want to buy a watch? But yeah, I want to get some more. Planning on doing lit RPGs coming up, which I'll be honest is a subgenre I really don't have a ton of experience in. I've read I think 3 lit RPGs, liked 2 of them, really didn't like the third. So I'm not going to say who it is because that's not but
really off-brand.
Yeah. So but I am looking forward to doing that and learning a little bit more about how the writing process would be different or the same, because you're adding in this whole different element that you don't really see anywhere else other than of course video games and TTRPGs. But I'm looking forward to that, and I'm hoping to do sword and sorcery, cozy fantasy, because that's really big right now, and I've actually read some of that. I'm finally joining the club a little bit, so I can only I can only go so much cozy fantasy before I'm like, but where's the stabby? I don't know. I've got like some sort of weird bloodlust thing happening. Well, let's just not look too far into that one because I don't, But I also have kind of noodling on some things. Of course, want to go back to the roundtable discussions if I can convince any book bloggers to waste their time talking to me a little bit. I think that could be fun. Got some ideas there. Just kind of some questions I'm noodling around with. As far as just different elements of writing and or reading, and what from both a reader standpoint and a writer standpoint, just you get these ongoing themes throughout really any genre over the years, and kind of discussing where that fits as far as like writing now versus writing then, and just things like along those lines. I think it'd be cool to kind of talk about. So I'm excited about that, and of course continue my Dragonlance side quest, and just have fun with that. I've got some other Dragonlance things that I'm still noodling on yet, so I don't really want to necessarily bring it up yet, because for all I know, I'll sit there and go, oh wait, that's a really bad idea. So I don't want to mention it until I'm convinced that it's not a really bad idea. So we'll see. Sometimes I bite off more than I can chew, but so yeah, there's stuff going on. I want to make Self-Published Authors Appreciation Week bigger, badder, better. Hoping to get organized enough this year to maybe do a giveaway or two, and kind of spread the self-published love a little bit. Get more people reading maybe something that they wouldn't pick up necessarily unless the giveaway. I would love to do that. I think that'd be really cool. So if I can get organized enough, we'll see. I knock on wood, but then I'll probably jostle the computer loose, and the next thing you know, you'll be like, where'd you go? But so I've got some stuff here and there, and we'll see how it goes. A lot of it is dependent on whether or not somebody is willing to be generous with their time and chat with me a little bit. So we'll see. So, but I'm excited. I think it's going to be fun.
Oh, good. Okay. I don't have any. Seriously. Self-published Authors Appreciation Week. Yep. I'm starting to come up with a take for that this year. No, I've got no plans at all, which is kind of freeing and kind of frightening because, I don't know what I'm going to do. I haven't even, I only put the nail in the coffin on 2024 yesterday. So,
well, you're still within the window of 2024.
Yes,
you got January is the lost month.
Exactly. But, oh, by the way, I said yesterday when people are watching this, it'll probably be when will it probably be? It'll probably be the 15th. So 4 days from now. So
okay,
it wasn't just I'm not going to be talking about 2024 on January 14th. Don't worry. At least me, I feel like I'm tired of it. But no, I don't have. Well, I kind of have. Well, okay, I do have a plan for reading, which I guess is where we're going now.
Okay.
Unless did you have something else?
Well, I was just curious if you were going to do Grandpappy's Corner some more. I've been loving that.
I hope so. I was really shocked when I did my year-end wrap-up how few of those I've done this year. There weren't a whole lot of new books coming in. Also, and this is embarrassing, I rarely get more than 2 or 3 pages into a book with my grand critic before he decides, nope, I'm done. And he closes the book on me and hops down from my lap and grabs the book and takes it to someone else in the same room and has been. No, it's today. I read 4 books to him in a row, bang, 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 and I was shocked. That equals, I think, the number of books he let me finish in the last 6 months. Doesn't happen. So yes, I hope more Grandpappy's Corner because those are fun to read as well as easy to do too. But, yes. So one of the few actual plans I have this year is thanks to the book Planet Narnia, which and some conversations I keep finding myself in is I need to spend some time in C.S. Lewis. Outside of reading Narnia when my kids were younger with them, I haven't spent time with him in a long time. I don't think I've really done anything with him this century outside of Narnia. Isn't it weird that I can say that with a straight face? This century I haven't touched it. So yeah, I've got a 26 book list of his stuff that I'm gonna.
Oh wow! I don't think I've read all of it. I've done some, but not all of it.
Mm-hmm. I've got 1.5 knocked off so far.
Nice.
So, I'm cruising, man. That's that, and then just keeping up on series, and then and or authors that just waiting for the latest from author X or Y. That's all I'm thinking. Do you have things like reading plans or reading goals, or like you've heard about some strange book that no one's ever heard of before that's about to come out that's going to blow you away or anything like that?
Well, I'm going to do Read Christie 2025. I don't know if you've heard of Read Christie. It's through like the Agatha Christie Foundation website thingamaboppy. And I did it, I don't know if it was 2024 or 2023, but I did it one other time with my teenager. And the year we did it that year, I want to say I'm going to get this wrong, the theme or whatever, they have a theme all year long. And it was methods and means or something like that. And this year it's character and careers. So they each month is a different theme. For example, the first month it's kind of an artist theme. So we're going to do 5 Little Pigs, and I finished reading that. He's still working on it. And it's so much fun because it's a a ton of people are doing it.
Yeah.
But I love doing it with my teenage son because I like getting his thoughts on it. It's really fun to be able to talk about books with him. He's got a cool perspective about things, so it's something we do together. We talk about books a lot, so I'm excited for that one.
Sure.
It's just fun because Agatha Christie, you can fly through those. They're not, time consuming, super hard reads. They're just fun. And there's something to be said for that. That's not an insult at all, but it's really neat because it's not an added, it's not a stress like, oh, I have to finish this thing for this month. It's fun. So I'm doing that. I'm excited for that. Of course, there are some books coming out, this year that I'm excited for. Luke Arnold's, his next Fetch Phillips book, Fetch Phillips. That's coming out in April. I don't know if you've read that one, that series. It's so much fun.
I've done how many are there?
This will be the 4th.
Okay. So I'm one behind. Apparently. Okay. So I got 2 to do this year.
I love that one. So excited for that. And
I think you're the one who pointed at me at those. So.
Oh, I'm glad you listened. It's so great. Yeah. I feel so proud of myself. But, love that series. And I'm really horrible. I do this thing where, I can't wait for this author's book, blah, blah, blah. And then I completely lose track of when it's coming out until, about a week before when I see people talking about it. And then I'm like, yeah, and then I'm all excited all over again. But, so I'm really bad. People ask me, oh, what are you looking forward to in 2025? And I'm like, books. But, there's some authors that I follow. But in general, overall, I'm just like, I know there's a book coming out at some point this year or next year by this author that I really liked. So, the Luke Arnold, Fetch Phillips is one. I'm going to get the name of this book wrong. The Last Hour Between Worlds. It was like one of the last books I read in 2024. My Melissa Caruso loved it.
I remember you. I think I saw a post about it.
Yeah, I expected to like it, but I didn't expect to like it as much as I did, and I loved it. And the sequel's coming out, The Last Soul Among Wolves, I believe it's called. And I'm excited for that one.
It's a good title.
Yeah.
I don't care what the book's like. That's a good title.
Exactly, right? I'm just like, if I hadn't read the first one, I saw that title, I'd want to go back and read the first one so I could read that one. So,
yes.
But really excited for that one. But overall, it'll be one of those things where about a month before a book comes out, someone will start talking about it and I'll be like, that's on my list. It's on my list. And then, I'll be, that's when I need to pre-order this, or I need to try to find it at the library or whatever. That's when I'll start, because I'm really horrible at dates. But what about you? Is there anything that you're just really got it marked on the calendar?
I think the M.W. Craven book is June.
So I'm not the only one. Okay.
Half the reason I post, on my Saturday posts, like, here's what came out this week, is so that I can find out, this is a book I should go, get on hold at the library or something. I might remember a couple of weeks in advance. But outside of certain authors that I don't even really pay attention to what the book is. I'm just buying it.
Don't you love when there's an author like that, though?
Oh, yeah.
You just know you're going to love whatever they write.
Yeah. But one of the things. Let's see if I can find the camera. Apparently, every 5 years, I didn't realize this. Pleasures of Reading: The Age of Distraction by Alan Jacobs. Apparently, I read this every 5 years, without really looking at the calendar. Although now I've got a little reminder to do it in 2030. This is a book about not thinking of reading about as intellectual eating your vegetables, or not like it talks about a lot of the people who work through, you have to read these 100 books before you die, and how so many of them are really just like they're not reading it because they're interested, they're reading it because it's on a list. And so yes, their eyes look at the characters on the table on the paper, but they're not really reading it. They're not really immersed. He wants people to be immersed. He wants people to enjoy, to read on the basis of a whim. And that doesn't mean you don't have aspirations, you don't like try to read out of your comfort zone or something, but you do it because you're interested in reading it. And it's just a wonderful reminder for me about what I should be looking for in a book. So really, truly read it because I'm interested. And sometimes I find myself reading books I didn't think I'd be interested in, and find myself that I am, or I take a chance, and that's fine. He made a really good case, as I've seen many people make a good case for DNFing a book. I'm still bad at that. And then he talks a lot about being slow and digesting, and I'm working on that. I can't tell since I'm always talking about the numbers. Wow, that was an off month for me, but I'm trying to get better at that. Whimsy and speaking of whimsy, I forgot this earlier when we were doing 2024 books. The legendary Mo Seto or Seto, I think it's Seto. Did you read that?
I did. I was lucky to be part of the Right Reads blog tour, so I was able to read it. I was surprised. Right? I was very surprised. I thought that was great.
Yeah. No, I did not expect to like that one as much as I did, and like I said this week, I'm looking forward to that MG novel far more than a guy in his 50s should.
I'm convinced that there's no wrong age to enjoy a book. I mean, really, if you can understand it,
absolutely not. No, C.S. Lewis is right. That when you get old enough that you can enjoy children's book again. But still, it just feels a little bit weird. It's not marketed towards me. I shouldn't be that eager.
Right.
It's not like I'm stalking Chad. Don't get me wrong. But
not at all.
No. I don't check. I don't even know when the book's coming out. I just know that it's expected this year. Sign me up.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay, so we really neither of us know what we're going to read this year.
Not at all. I know. Well, I'm going to guess there's going to be a little bit of Dragonlance. Just going to assume, but I mean, it's going to be a fun year of adventures. We'll see.
Yeah. I trust you have the pre-order anniversary collection.
Oh yeah. Well, actually, I already technically have it. The soft cover version was released in the UK, so I bought it, and I have that one. And then the hardcover version that comes out in the US, it releases the first week of February, and I pre-ordered that one. So technically I already have it, but I had to get the hardcover version. I try not to do that too often because, I like everybody, I'm on a budget, but I have to for Dragonlance. So, that's my excuse. And my birthday's in January, so I'm going to just assume this is my birthday present to me. So,
there you go.
So we'll see what, excuse I come up with when, the next book comes out in August of next year. I'm pre-birthday present or something like that.
So they're on the hook for another trilogy, or is this?
Yes, it's another trilogy. It's going to be about I don't know. You've read the books or some of the books. It's about Magus and Huma and their relationship. And the first one's called War Wizard. It comes out in 2026. I'm not positive they have an exact set date yet, but I'm assuming it's going to be kind of the same time as they've been, which would be in the fall. So very excited about that one. So
that might be enough to bring me out of Dragonlance retirement.
Oh yes, you must.
I think against the companions, but Huma, there's something about him that that standalone, The Legend of Huma. I don't know how many times I read that.
Oh, it's so good.
Yeah. That was close to when I stopped with Dragonlance because I stopped with fantasy in general around then for a while. And now I look at your lists of Dragonlance. I can't.
It's a lot. Yeah.
But I did order me a copy of that anniversary collection. That looks cool. Yeah. Actually, I did that through your book.
My bookshop?
Bookshop, yes.
Thank you. I always forget to put the little link because I forget, and then I'm like, oh, drat, I should have put the link for whatever book on my blog post, and I never remember. So I do have a bookshop, but no one knows about it.
There was someone a couple months ago on Blue Sky who asked for people who did that, and I think you and I were the only people that responded. But I went through and I bought a book from both of you, or through both of you. And I said, I gotta get the Dragon Master.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Yeah, I'm doing it anyway. I might as well throw a penny or two your way. So, yeah, I don't. Yeah, outside of Lewis, and then just some authors, I don't have anything this year that I'm dying. That I'm set in stone. Now you can ask me in a couple of weeks. There'll be something that comes out at the end of February that I'm dying to read.
Yeah.
I have no idea what it is, man.
You have to go through it and go through NetGalley and look at all the pre-releases and be like, oh yeah.
I'm trying not to go on NetGalley. I went there this week and entered my review for a book and got another one while I was there.
Of course.
But yeah, no, I have too many NetGalley books right now. It's bugging me. It's obligation. I've got them on the calendar, so I know when I have to read them. And, like the Bennett book, I want to read that early, but I let myself. I read a bunch of NetGalley stuff, and I'd be posting about books that people will forget by June when they come out. So I force myself to hold off. But what's your percent on NetGalley?
Last time I checked, it was like I think 90%. But I got 3 arcs since then. So which of course they come out in the summer, so they're not behind. I'm guessing that at least one of them I'll post like a couple weeks afterward, and then feel horrible. I will admit there's a book on there that's I don't remember requesting it, and I got it, and I was really excited to get it, and that was 2 years ago, and I have yet to review it. So kind of feel a little bit bad about that one. So my apologies to the author in question. I will get there. And So.
But 90, that took some work. I was in the 70s for the longest time.
Well, I had to lay off a little bit because it's harder for me to read ebooks than it is to read physical books. I've got epilepsy, and if I read an ebook for too long, the screen starts to kind of look like it's moving, and I get a headache. So if I have
I didn't know that was a thing for. Is that common, or is that like one of your idiosyncratic?
I don't know. I know that
you're not an expert.
I'm not. But I do know that I've talked to other people and they have the same thing. Other people that have epilepsy, where screens just kind of after a while, or certain colors or whatever. So I do have a Paperwhite, which helps a little bit because it's not that bright screen color, but it takes me quite a bit longer to read an ebook because of it. Sure. So to the point where if an author asks me, I'll say, just so you know, if it's an ebook, it's going to take me longer than a physical book, and but so I try to do like an ebook and a physical book at the same time. That way, if I have to switch from one to the other, I've got multiple ways to do it. So I try not to get too many on NetGalley. That being said, too many, that's kind of a relative term. So you know how that goes.
Yes. Yeah. No, I since the days of being in the 70s and stuff like that, I'm at 95, and I am, I'm dead set about keeping that.
Well, see, that's really good. So you should, reward yourself by requesting a book.
I've got 9, I think, right now from them. I won't let myself do another one until at least. I've got one more that I actually have one read that I just need to write about. So by the end of next week, I should be able to let myself get another one.
There you go.
I have to police it really well. Okay. Well, I have kept you. Oh my gosh. Okay, we've been around here. This has been longer than I thought it was going to be. So anything that you left off Anything you're like, you know what? I want to be sure to mention this.
I'm sure there's something, but kind of boring. So I'm not sure. I'm just really excited for this year.
Are you saying that this last 54 minutes?
I have no plans.
Okay.
So,
all right.
Yes. Let me rephrase that. But it's been fun. I'll probably do some more, wonky book tags, and everyone will just kind of be like, oh, the more we learn about this person, the weirder she gets. But I'm excited for the year and to see what happens, and what book jumps out and completely floors me. So of course, all the blogs catching up on that, will then introduce me to completely new books and new authors, and then I'll just be like, curse you and thank you, at the same time, because
yes,
that's how it goes. But
yeah, just today, LaShawn got me to spend money. Man, I didn't need this.
he's good. He's good at that. He really is.
Yeah, he is. Like I told him, one more. Today's post is one more reason that he can't meet my wife. She would not. She'd give him a talking to.
Yep.
But okay, well, thank you very much for your time. I had fun. I hope you viewers had fun. And remember, give money to my Patreon, and we will tell you 3 easy steps to get to world peace. We're going to record that as soon as I hit stop recording here. All right. Thank you, everyone.